Hello, this is a video on how to request travel reimbursement from the Jaggaer website. First, you will go to the Banner website at it.eku.edu/banner. You will scroll down until you see Jaggaer (PROD). Then you will click that. Once you click on that link, it will have you log in, and you will log in with your normal EKU credentials. Since this is an example, I have logged in under Anna Stamper. Once you have logged in and are on this home page, you will scroll all the way down until you see Travel Expense Reimbursements under the Forms category. You will go over to the section that you are currently asking for reimbursement for. So for this example, we will be using 7/1/21 to 9/30/21. Then you will get this pop-up window. I will make it bigger so that we can see. Then you will need to enter your name as the supplier. For this example, Harmon Hodge has said that we may use him as the example. You should see your name pop up in a little box like this. You will click it, and it will fill out this first section for you. And you will indicate if you are a student or employee by clicking one of these boxes. If you are not in the system as a supplier, please email Anna Stamper with your EKU ID, and she will get you added into the system. Once you have entered yourself as the supplier, you will choose your permanent address from the Remit to Address field. This will automatically populate once you are chosen as the supplier. Next, you will need to manually re-enter all of the information that is above. Once you have filled out that information, you will go over to the right for Invoice Information. This will be entered as travel in all caps, followed by the date of the travel that you are requesting. For this example, we will use yesterday, the date of 9/29/2021. And you will need to put in the 2-digit month, the 2-digit date, and the 4-digit year into the box following an all capital travel. Next, you will scroll down to the Business Purpose, Trip Details, Mileage, and Substance section of this web page. You will start by entering the departure date. For this example, we will be using yesterday's date of 9/29/2021 and the example departure time of 10 a.m. Then you will enter your arrival time. For our example, we will be using 10:20 a.m. Your departure from, we will be entering EKU, and you will put in here where you arrived to. For this example, we will be using Madison Southern. You will then enter your business purpose. For this example, we are going to be using Student Teacher Observation Form. But you may enter whatever it is that was your purpose. Next, you will move on to the mileage section. For the mileage section, you will only use city-to-city and quantity miles. You will not enter the vicinity mileage. For this example, the city-to-city mileage is 13 miles, and you will again enter that into the quantity section. For this section, all subsidence is for anything you paid out of pocket for that the university should reimburse you for. This will include food for a weekend conference and things of that nature. For basic travel to and from schools, you do not need to put anything into this box. In the next business purpose, trip details, mileage, and subsistence section, you will enter the return information for your trip. You will enter the departure time that you left the location. For this example, we are going to put 2:00 p.m. Your return and arrival date, and your return arrival time. For this example, we are going to put 12:20 p.m. Where you departed from, where you returned and arrived to, and again, you will enter the business purpose. You will need to re-input the city-to-city mileage. For this example, it is 13 miles, and the quantity. You do not need to put anything in the vicinity mileage again, and the same rules are for the subsistence. For this section, you may enter multiple places if you are going multiple places within a day. You do not need to fill out a new form for each place and time that you go during the day. When you do this, you will need to ensure that you have filled out an individual business purpose, trip details, mileage, and subsistence section for each departure and return for every trip that you wish to input on this page. At the bottom of the page, you can enter any out-of-pocket expenses or any expenses paid with a Pro card. For out-of-pocket expenses, you will need to upload a receipt to be submitted with your travel form if the purchase was over $10. In order to submit your travel reimbursement form, you will have to upload an attachment in the Receipts and Other Attachments section showing the mileage to and from your destination. If you are frequently visiting specific schools, it is recommended that you map the mileage once, save that attachment, and then use the same attachment each time you travel to that school to save you time. This attachment can be a web link or an actual attachment that you upload and should consist of a MapQuest, Google Maps, or other mapping documentation and shows the mileage to and from your destination. This is the place that you will need to upload your attachment. You will click Add Attachments, select the file, wait for it to upload, click Save Changes, and it should upload onto the website. Once you have completed this and added your attachments, you will scroll back up to the top of the form and see Available Actions with a drop-down menu. From the drop-down menu, choose Add and Go to Cart and click Go. Once you have done this, it will close the pop-up and take you back to the Jaggaer dashboard to submit the travel reimbursement form. It will prompt you to add a note for your business purpose. You can enter the same thing here that you entered for the business purpose on your actual form. At the bottom, there will be two options. I apologize. At the top, there will be two options. One will say Proceed to Checkout, the other will say Assign Cart. You will need to click the one that says Assign Cart. You will need to assign the cart, and if there is anything that you would like the assignee to know, you can enter it in the Notes section. If there is not, you may leave it blank. For this example, I will be using Anna Stamper as the assignee. There is nothing that I would like to note to her, so I'm going to leave that section blank. If everything is completed correctly, your cart will be assigned and it will move through the approval process electronically. You will see the green check mark and cart assigned following the successful assignment of the cart. If you have any questions about this process, please email Anna Stamper at anna.stamper@eku.edu. Thank you.